great trip. We were down recruiting in Florida during the day, and then went up to Jacksonville at the evening and had a chance to meet many of the individuals involved with the Gator Bowl. I was really very impressed with just the way they handle it. There's you can tell it's a lot of pride in the city of Jacksonville for this bowl game, and so much work goes into it, and just really first class setup. Just really impressed with the people and enjoyed that experience there, and had the press conference and different activities. So really looking forward to the opportunity to be in that venue. I went to the stadium, and really excited about the number of tickets that's been pre-sold already, and they're expecting a big old crowd. So really exciting for our team, and just talking to them even this morning as we had our practice and team meeting, just about the opportunity this creates for our program, and just really congratulating the seniors and their leadership in leading this season and allowing us to be rewarded with an opportunity to go and play in a bowl game of this stature in this location, and also the fact that they'll be playing as a primetime game with the whole country watching, which is a really, really important part of being able to show what we're building here at Indiana and how we play. And that's really something that I'm looking forward to having that opportunity to do with our team. So started our first practice today, and thought we got a lot of good work in. We'll have a couple more here the next 2 days, and then give them a couple days off for finals, and then come back and hit 3 more days, and really starting to get into the Tennessee prep at that point, and then give them a day off after those 3 days, and then come back for our final 3. We'll go Christmas Eve morning will be our final practice on campus, and then give our players a chance to go home for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and a couple days afterwards, and we'll meet in Jacksonville. Many guys will come here with us, and we'll travel together, and those that are further away, we'll just go ahead and report down to the bowl site. So that's kind of our schedule for the next couple weeks, and looking forward to it. I think our guys are very excited about this opportunity, and want to see our team take full advantage of it. Questions?
Go ahead, John.
This is your first time coaching into a bowl.
Mhm.
So, or as an assistant, were there any coaches you've learned from in terms of the structure of this, or
Mhm.
are there coaches that you call and say,
Well, I would say, the thing for me, being in a couple different bowls recently, then the most recent one for me is I remember my first game was the bowl game, when we went out to California. So that was an absolute whirlwind, and a lot of things being thrown at you really, really fast. So, but just talk to some teams that have been in this exact bowl, looked at their schedule and got some ideas from that. But you also kind of learn about the biggest thing is this a bowl that's this late is how do you manage the time, and so these last 2 weeks have been huge for us to be able to, kind of learn from some things the way I liked it done in the past with guys I worked with and at other places, and things maybe I didn't like as well, but to me the biggest thing is making sure that your players stay sharp, physically from a conditioning perspective, and so we did a lot with our guys the last 2 weeks and didn't really do a lot of football necessarily things, but only a couple of days of that. But with our strength staff, we had 5 individual workouts with those guys, and just allowing them to be able to stay on top of their game physically, as well as getting a chance to kind of get mentally and physically refreshed from all the normal, demands of a season, watching film and having practice every, most days. And so I feel like it's been a nice break for them in that regard. So yeah, you kind of you learn, and you talk to other coaches, and especially ones that have been in this exact bowl or a bowl later, like in the, early January. So it's been good to be able to resource those guys.
He's the Matt.
You've had a little bit of time to look at Tennessee film now. What, what about them that stands out with Washington?
Well, I've only watched a little. We were up till wee hours of the morning last night. Got in very late from out west recruiting, and been recruiting really, really hard. So, but at the same time, very athletic is what I see. Offensive line I think is very talented. They're a young team, but a very talented team. The receiver core is the strength of their offense in terms of just raw talent. Very, very impressed with them. And then the good solid running backs. Then they got numerous running backs that they're able to be effective. And then their D-line I think is very aggressive and physical and athletic, and they got some good size at backer, and they all run well. So I mean it's a typical SEC team. Very impressive physically, a lot of athleticism. The thing about them, you kind of look and they're really playing their best football. They won their last 5 games, have kind of stopped turning the ball over, which we all know how big that is. And once they started doing that, it really allowed them to be successful. And so Coach Pruitt's done a really good job with this team. And I know they entered the season with a lot of high expectations, and maybe had a couple early on that they didn't go the way they wanted to, but they learned from those, and they're playing really well right now. So it's a really good football team we're about to play.
Tom.
We're talking about
Sure.
Each team you want to try to do when you can.
Well, I would say, at this point, to me, the goal, the first 3 practices are designed to have a lot of technique and fundamental work, kind of approach them the way we'd approach a bye week, in both structure and in both physicality. So more physical with our younger guys, and really trying to get them a lot of good reps. Added some extra periods today for a lot of our freshmen and sophomores to be able to don't get a lot of the reps with the 1s and 2s to allow them to be able to go. Not a lot of full live goes, but we call it thud tempo. So still physical in line of scrimmage, thudding them up in the box and having good technique on the perimeter. So a lot of tackling drills for our guys, a lot of good physical blocking from a drill work perspective. So, yeah, you're trying to be physical, but you're right. It's a long process you go through, and that's where, you don't like to start too soon on your opponent. It gets a little stale if you do. So we're going to be focusing at this point trying to just get better, just get better as a football team and the things that we know we have to get better at, from a fundamental technique perspective moving forward.
Kevin, was that?
Do you have a practice site set in Jacksonville yet, or is that to be determined?
It'll be, we think pretty soon here, probably. I think there's a local high school that we're going to be at that has a really nice surface. Our guys went down and checked a couple of them out while we were there. Well, I did not physically go myself, but it'll be trying to get a nice surface. I looked at I walked through the Jaguars field, and it's in really good shape. They'll have only one more game, which is against the Colts, between now and when we play. So, barring a rain game, it should be in really good shape, So we're trying to get we usually play on field turf up here. Most of our games are on turf. So to be able to get on natural grass, we did play a couple games this year on that. So would like to be able to get on that as much as we can.
Zach and Caleb.
At one level, you almost look for the younger guys at these practices, almost like spring.
Yeah.
For them in a certain way where you communicate to that.
Yes.
To them in terms of saying, listen, we're really going to be running the rule over how much you've progressed. And this is your opportunity to really turn the page. You don't want them overlooking the ball, but really turn the page with the opportunities.
Well, there's no question, and that's even today. And we talked to our team in the team meeting about kind of our goals here for what we're trying to accomplish and early on, and basically want these young guys to get lots of reps. We do the walkthroughs today. We're geared around our young guys. All the guys involved in those walkthroughs were our younger players, so they can learn the system on both sides of the football. So I just think you have to do that. That's one of the big benefits of being in the bowl game is those extra practices. Older guys will benefit as well, but we're a very young football team, so we got a lot of young guys that are in the 1s and 2s, but then we're really young when you start getting to the guys that go with our 3s and 4s. So yes, we want to get a lot of work in, get those guys a ton of reps, and treat it as like we basically have 2 spring balls now, which is double benefit.
Caleb and Stefan.
You talked about it trying to not be stale with your preparation. Is that just sprinkling in Tennessee work or trying to hold off to the back end of?
Yeah, we're holding off. We're not going to do any Tennessee work here early on. And like I said, it's just even our special teams. It's all special teams drills. We do some things, full group with punt, but we didn't do anything else. It was all drill work, and that's kind of the focus, And then all the team sessions and Skelly are all offense versus defense. We're not going against scout teams right now. So at this point, we're not really doing anything specific to Tennessee yet.
Stefan and then Caleb.
Saw you stop by the intramural field for this. Any thoughts on some of the game you saw out there?
I did. I tell you, that was fun. I just appreciate all those guys and girls that were out there and cheering them on, and they were pretty rambunctious, that's for sure. So we had a good time together. But those are our student body, and I just want to support them. They support us. They come watch us play and cheer us on. So I wanted to cover some good plays being made out there. Got a couple of guys who might need to make some offers too.
Caleb and Cam.
Coach, I know we can't talk about 2020 guys specifically, but I know there are a couple or a few that will be available to be practicing in full preparation stuff. But is that more position-wise that you work with them, or is it just kind of showing them what practice is like?
Yeah, it's hard to get too much. I know there's a lot of variables that have to be in place in order for those, if they're mid-year. You're talking about the mid-year enrollees that would come. Yeah, and so we've had a couple in the past that have been able to do that. You basically have to have it to where, you're completely finished at your school and you've graduated and everything's, cleared there, and then you're enrolled here. And so, and we can't do it off-site, but all the bowl practices we have on campus, those guys can be a part of. And in the past, it's usually, you don't even really probably get them in full pads. It's just more just being around, getting the flow, start learning the terminology, and just getting familiar with what we do. So we'll try and get a couple of those if we can, but it's not really a huge priority.
Cam and Pete.
I guess kind of a two-part thing. First, you mentioned when you're doing the press conference with Fred a week ago that you want to get the guys off time for Christmas.
Yeah.
So that's really important. Just first off, why you think that, and two, as a coach, when you're kind of letting your guys go through that period of time when you're not directly in control of their actions, how do you find balance and make sure that they're doing the right
Sure. Well, I think first of all, the reason why I think it's important is because I mean, if you look at our schedule, you look at the calendar and how long these guys have been going, it can get very, very, difficult mentally and physically. And so I think just the chance to be home for Christmas is a big deal. And our guys they were pretty fired up that we got the chance to go home. So I just think that's important. Family's important to me, and I want our guys to be with theirs for Christmas. And so we set the schedule up. We play late enough, and we got plenty of time to get our work in. And that's what my whole philosophy is. When we're here, we got our work in. We got to be locked in, and let's be effective at that and maximize our time. But when we're away, let's make sure we get refreshed. And so, but yeah, you mentioned about being concerned. Anytime they're not with me, spring break is it's hard to enjoy spring break, for me, because I'm always concerned about what might happen. So it's the same thing here. The guys go home, but I love our team, and I trust our guys. But we talk about it, even just to travel, we talk about not texting when you're driving, when you're going home, just being careful, wearing your seatbelts and all the things that you try to do as a parent would do, it's no different. But when they're home, they represent us, everything that they do, and that we got a great opportunity ahead of us. So, they got to continue to eat right, get proper sleep, take care of their bodies when they're away for a few days, so that we're going to give them off to meet before we come back to the bowl site. So, it's being a pro. We talk about it all the time, and that's a lot of things involved in that phrase, but these guys are a pretty driven group. They're very focused. They've set out their goals for this year, and this is one of them, was to go win our bowl game. So I can see it. I can tell by looking in our eyes today. It's a very focused group.
Pete?
Has there been any early impact from some of the kids you're recruiting from this?
Okay, we were able to go down to Jacksonville on Wednesday, which was a great trip. We were down recruiting in Florida during the day, and then went up to Jacksonville at the evening and had a chance to meet many of the individuals involved with the Gator Bowl. I was really very impressed with just the way they handle it. There's you can tell it's a lot of pride in the city of Jacksonville for this bowl game, and so much work goes into it, and just really first class setup. Just really impressed with the people and enjoyed that experience there, and had the press conference and different activities. So really looking forward to the opportunity to be in that venue. I went to the stadium, and really excited about the number of tickets that's been pre-sold already, and they're expecting a big old crowd. So really exciting for our team, just talking to them even this morning as we had our practice and team meetings, just about the opportunity this creates for our program, and just really congratulating the seniors and their leadership in leading this season and allowing us to be rewarded with an opportunity to go and play in a bowl game of this stature in this location, and also the fact that they'll be playing as a primetime game with the whole country watching, which is a really, really important part of being able to show what we're building here at Indiana and how we play. And that's really something that I'm looking forward to having that opportunity to do with our team. So started our first practice today, and I thought we got a lot of good work in. We'll have a couple more here the next 2 days.
Last one.
On the ability, maybe the temptation to maybe get innovative offensively and defensively, doing things maybe you haven't done, is that a temptation? And if so, is it almost a fun thing? Like, let's come up with interesting things to do offensively?
Well, time creates that, and sometimes you got to be careful, but I think that's you need to do a little bit of that. I think it also helps with your guys, for them to be able to, do some new things. But at the same time, we're such a young team overall that we still I want us to be very, very simple in our regards to the fact that we're going to play really fast and play very physical, play with a lot of confidence, and it's still, just looking back at our last game, we still made too many mistakes on defense and gave up too many big plays. So, but yeah, you kind of, when coaches get some more time on their hands to be innovative and creative, sometimes we do too much of that, so it's about being fundamentally sound and playing well. But yeah, you need some wrinkles. You don't want them to be able to sit on this stuff for the last several weeks and feel like they have a good feel for you. You like to be able to give them something they haven't seen.